I have 4 words that could describe Alicia, and that was strong-willed, rebellious, talented, and smart.
She knew that down deep and underneath this other false exterior was a good, wonderful young lady.
I was just rebellious to the whole idea of conforming to everyone else's standards.
Even though she was rebellious, she was a special one to me.
I was definitely one of her trouble spots.
She'd pull out of bed with sweats on or whatever and walk into seminary and just kind of sit in the corner with her arms folded and just kind of look at you like, I dare you to teach me something.
Praying was very infrequent. That's not something she would ask me to do, and if she did, she got a negative answer.
If I called on her, she would answer. If once in a while, she would raise her hand. And so I knew that she was listening, even though she acted like she wasn't.
She stood by me even in, I'm going to seminary in my pajamas and just hanging out, and making comments that she probably didn't agree with or want to have in her class, and she still stood by me.
I just feel totally that the Lord, whatever happened, whatever I said, whatever I did, was because of the Lord doing it through me.
She had that ability to just show love for everyone, no matter what you looked like, acted like. She was just glad you were there.
And at times I feel like, oh, these kids, is anything getting through? And then all of a sudden a parent will say something to me, or one of the kids will after they graduate. I think, oh, gee, okay, I can go on now. This is all right.
Sister Bean's testimony is very, very strong and very powerful. And there were many times that I would feel the Spirit. Again, not being willing to express it or to show it.
Things come out that I don't know what I said, and I'm sure it's the Lord speaking through me. In fact, I know it is.
Around the time of my bridal shower, I was able to let her know that I wouldn't have been going to the temple without her.
I got a wedding invitation, and in it she had a card saying she wanted me to be at the temple. And I called her mom and told her I would love to.
My mom had a few friends that she needed to invite to the temple, but for me, my invitation list was quite short, and the top of the list was definitely Sister Bean and her husband.
When she went to the temple and saw this kind of rebellious young lady be able to be married in the temple, and knowing that she was maybe somewhat influenced in this, it has to be a nice payday for her.
She just says, I always knew. I always knew you'd make it.
My first 2 years were very scary. And I had feelings of, oh, am I doing any good? Or I don't think I can handle this. The kids scared me to death. And the best advice I can give is not to give up.
You never know who you're impacting and when or how. If you can just be open, loving, no matter what they are, because who I was at 14, 15, 16 is not who I am today.
If it hadn't been for Sister Bean, I think she would have been totally inactive by now. And I really don't think she would have married in the temple. She wouldn't she's a counselor in the Relief Society. She definitely would not have a hold of church calling. She would probably be one of our many inactives.
She influenced me, so now I have been given the opportunity to possibly influence others.
If she's done that to my children, what has she done to all of these other young people during this period of time that she has been teaching?
This is the hair.
Oh, that is horrible.
I wake up every morning and turn that alarm off and think, why am I doing this? And I had no idea that I would have that kind of impact. I was hoping I could teach them something, but as far as affecting their life, I don't know. I never dreamed.
I was a freshman at Box Elder High School in 1972. And my freshman teacher, Tom Nelson, who teaches, I think he's now in Kansas still, he taught me in a way that changed my life.
It's really humbling to me to think that really not unbeknownst to me that there were things happening there that I wasn't aware of.
And from that day till now, that's all I wanted to do was change people's lives like he changed mine.
I had no clue really that anything was going on with Corey any more than anybody else in the class.
I look back, I don't know how. I just know that his love for me, I felt it.
He was really a fun-loving kid, and it was a good class. And we had a lot of fun together.
He got me reading scriptures every day. He didn't make me feel guilty when I missed.
I felt strong enough about it that they read the scriptures every day, and also that they get up early in the morning, that I put together the 6 a.m. club and told them they ought to get up early in the morning. The first thing they ought to do is read the scriptures.
He got me into what we kind of called the wimpy verse club. Rather than sometimes you read a chapter and then you miss, and then you miss, and you think you got to make up 2 or 3, and you get so down on yourself you quit. His was, if you missed, read today. If you missed, read today. And by the end of his year, I had the habit of reading my scriptures every day. And because of him, I have not missed since 1972, except for one day this year on a scout camp. I've read my scriptures every day, at least one wimpy verse.
The seeds are planted, but you just never really know. Sometimes don't even know if they're planted. And I know that there have been days when I've walked out of class and, felt I really missed it. And only to have a student come up, and sometimes later, and say that what I said made an impact.
I looked for him for a couple of years after I got in the system, and I could never find him at symposium, and then the day we met.
Out of nowhere, there's this young man that just rushes up to me, and boy, he just threw his arms around me and grabbed me really tight. I didn't know who he was, There's this young guy, and so I grab a hold of him and pull him away, and he says, "Don't you remember me? I'm Corey." And I said, "Oh, Corey." I thought, "Why are you here?" At symposium, and then I found out that he was teaching seminary, and he gave me credit for that.
He didn't think he did much. He did just doing his job.
He said that I had made that impact on him, and that was a very humbling thing, and that's why it's so humbling to me right now, is that a teacher can, unbeknownst, have that kind of an impact.
You teachers have a great mission. As teachers, you stand upon the highest peak in education. For what teaching can compare in priceless value and in far-reaching effect with that which deals with man as he was in the eternity of yesterday, as he is in the mortality of today, and as he will be in the forever of tomorrow?